Hey, what's up? Facebook is messing with me again today. So, we're going to talk a little bit about getting ghosted. And you might be going, well, what the hell is ghosted? It's when a client suddenly disappears on you. Hey, my name is Dawnna St. Louis, and I am CEO of Biz-On-Fire, or to make it easy, highprofitzone.com. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about getting ghosted. What happens? How do you deal with getting ghosted? And what in the hell is ghosted in the first place? And ghosting happens a lot, by the way. It happens a lot to clients, to people like me who are out there reaching out to clients, and we cannot figure out how to stop getting ghosted and what to do when we do get ghosted and how to deal with getting ghosted. So again, my name is Dawnna St. Louis. I am CEO of Biz-On-Fire.com. And you can also find me at highprofitzone.com, where we do amazing retreats for entrepreneurs who want to make more money pimping out their expertise. So what is ghosted? So you know that client that you've been really reaching out to. You guys have had emails, you've had phone calls, you've gone back and forth, and everything is all good, and then all of a sudden you get to price, and they disappear. Whatever it happened, but this client just disappeared. Well, they're not a client yet, they're probably a prospect. But basically, you're in the sales conversation, and they are not responding, right? So how do you handle that? Let me go ahead and give some shout outs. What's up, Ahmed? Hey, Jessica. And I saw some other people come on. I saw Rich Hopkins come on. They went by really fast. What's up, Ed? How are you guys doing? Hey, Jim. Hey, Donna. It's good to see you guys on. So we're going to talk about there's some cool ways, by the way, to handle clients that ghosted you, that totally just disappeared from nowhere. Hey, Sharon, how are you doing? So anyway, let's talk about ghosting. So first of all, what is it? You've gotten into the sales conversation and they just disappear. They won't give you a no. They won't give you a yes. They just go away. That's what they do. And so when you have a client that ghosts you a lot, how do you handle it? Because you feel like you guys are in a really good conversation and that you kind of established this relationship, and now they've just disappeared. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, did you really get ghosted, right? Because sometimes we feel like we got ghosted. We feel like the client just disappeared on us, when in actuality, there could be things going on. Of course, the contract and closing that deal is important to you, and it's a number one priority, but it doesn't mean that it is to them. So sometimes it's time. And I know you guys are sitting going, oh, Dawnna, the T word. Yes, sometimes it's time, or the P word, patience. You didn't necessarily get ghosted. Maybe they're on vacation. Maybe they're on vacation for 2 weeks and they forgot to let you know ahead of time. Maybe they got really busy and they ended up in a whole lot of meetings. Maybe they got something new that just fell on their desk. Maybe they ended up going to another department and forgot to let you know. But regardless, all you know from your end is that they're not responding. So the first thing I would say is, what's up, Jason? The first thing I would say is you might want to give them a week or so, maybe 2. Don't assume that just because they went on vacation that you were the number one person that they were thinking about calling, because maybe not. So give it a couple of weeks. Recognize that they may be on vacation. They may have dealt with a death in the family. Other things could be going on in their life. And therefore, your time-sensitive contract isn't that important. I know, that hurts, kind of wrong. It is what it is, but it's true. So that's the first thing. So now you kind of understand that you got to give it a little time. And hopefully, by the way, by this time, you've established a relationship with them. So you're not going, I got ghosted, and all you did was send out one email. This is usually within a sales conversation that this happens. Also, make sure that you are talking to the right person, because sometimes when you're talking to a committee, things could take even longer. And if that committee member suddenly disappears, now you're really in trouble. So we also want to make sure that we're always talking to the decision maker. Now, here are a few things that you could do if you get ghosted. Number 1, go on social media and like all of their social media stuff. Like literally, go on there and like it. Because they get notifications that you just like their social media stuff, and all of a sudden it puts you at top of mind. They're also going to realize that, oh, he knows I'm not dead. right? So make sure that you're checking out if you're connected with them, especially on LinkedIn. If they have something that came up on LinkedIn, like they were in the news or something like that, make sure that you comment on it and make sure that you tag them directly when you do. Hey, John, I see that you got da-da-da-da. Congratulations, right? It's a really cool way of it's a subtle way of saying, hey, by the way, I know you're not dead, right? So it kind of puts you in their ear a little bit. So that's the first thing you can do. Of course, you can always send an email. I'm assuming that I don't have to say that, but just in case, make sure that you have sent at least one email saying, hey, I haven't heard back from you. The ball should always be in your court in regards to when you're going to reach out to them anyway. Even when I leave a voicemail message, I'll say, hey, it's Monday, it's 4:00, and I'm leaving this voicemail message in regards to XYZ. However, if I hope to hear back from you by tomorrow morning. If I don't, however, I will leave another voicemail message or I will contact you again. I always want the ball to be in my court, so I take control of the next contact. Also, a way to not be ghosted is ensure that the person knows the process that you're going through, especially in your sales process. So number one, I'm going to send you this and wait for this response. I'll reach out to you if I don't get it by this time. Like, I have a process that I go through with my clients, so that way they know what's coming up next and who's responsible for what. And I'm always the person that's going to reach back out. I'm going to always do that touch point if I don't get whatever I'm looking for. And if I do get what I'm looking for, by the way, I'm going to let them know, even in their response email, this is the next touch point, this is when it's due by, and I'll be reaching back to you by. So I'm always in control of that process. So of course, email, voicemail, but here's the one that if they have really ghosted you, you're saying, Dawnna, you just do not understand. It's been a month. They have not responded at all. I'm not only going to tell you the response that you can use, I am going to tell you the 2 ways to use a response that definitely works. But here you go. Number 1, send the following. You can do this in email, and I've done these several times. I send an email and it says, hey, I'm really, really worried about you because I've reached out to you this many times and I haven't heard back from you. So I'm assuming, and again, this is someone you've established a relationship with. You have to use your own words. Number 1, you're really busy, and this is at the top of your priority, but you're really busy and you'll get back to me next week, A. B, you are totally buried underneath all of your work, and I should call 911 within the next 48 hours if I don't hear from you. Or C, you found that article about me, and you know that I'm like a certified psychopath, and you never ever want to hear from me again. Right? So you got to use your own words. I'm just giving you an example. I really do something funny because I've established that relationship with my clients by then, that we're not curing cancer. So it's not that serious if they don't hire me, and if they choose to go a different direction, that's fine. Sometimes they just need permission to say no. They need permission to say, you know what, we don't have the money, we don't have the budget. They need permission. They even need to know that there's an alternate way of working with you. If you haven't established those things, by the way, by the time you get to this point, you will get ghosted. Customers don't like to say no, and they don't like to tell you why they know, and why the answer is no, and they don't like to be put in a high pressure situation. So you want to make sure that you've already given them that permission, so that way by the time they get to that conversation, it's not so uncomfortable for them to say no. I do that all the way through. I tell people all the time, listen, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm some people's shot of whiskey, but I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea, which is fine because I'm not trying to get teabagged by everybody anyway. And so I'm so clear with that up front that I'm like, so you might find out that your CEO doesn't like me, or that your budget doesn't fit my rate, or that whatever it is, and it's totally, or my message isn't right for your audience, or the way that I deliver doesn't work for your people. It's cool, because you know what? There's 7 billion people on earth. Sometimes we're just not going to be a match, and that's fine. But I don't want to lose a relationship just because it's a no today. I give them permission to tell me no early on. If you give your clients permission, your prospects permission to tell you no early on, they're more likely to be honest with you when it comes down to it and not ghost you, because quite honestly, ghosting takes a lot of time and energy. So here's the last one that I use, and I'll share this with you. But first, If you are interested in making money using your expertise, if you want to turn your expertise into dollars, and if you want to either be a speaker or a coach or an entrepreneur, and you really want to nail this, even if you're sitting there going, yeah, but I don't know exactly what I talk about, then you should be talking to me. And specifically, you should be at the High Profit Zone retreat that we have going on in Orlando, September 27th through 30th. Now, it starts the evening of the 27th, and you can leave if you have to leave a little earlier. We end at 2 o'clock on the 30th. Anyway, if you're interested in that, go to highprofitzone.com, and check it out, and then set up an appointment to give me a call. So I want to show you this last thing that I do, because it is guaranteed to have a 100% open rate. It totally works, and I cannot tell you how often people call me back. I send a postcard. I use thanks.io, and I send a postcard out to clients who ghosted me. So a month has passed by. I have not heard from anyone. I can't get a response to my email. I can't get a response to my phone call. Something's going wrong. I can't figure out what it is. So I send a postcard. Now, people always ask me the same thing. Well, Dawnna, what do you put on the front of the postcard and what do you put on the back of the postcard? So on the front of the postcard, I usually put some type of meme that I found that I think they would think is funny. So I always try to put something on there that's kind of funny on the front. And then on the back, I put this. These are Trivia Pursuit cards, if you recognize them, right? And I find, while I'm talking to them, by the way, I find a topic that's interesting to them. Now, I used to get these on Google, but I've only recently been introduced to Trivia Pursuit. Do not laugh at me. And so I now use these Trivia Pursuit cards. So I'll find something interesting from one of these cards, and I will put the question on the back. And usually it has something to do with my business as well, so it does take a little bit of homework. But I'll put the question on the card, and I'll say, give me a call for the answer. If I know someone's really interested in math, I'll put some type of brain teaser. But I like putting brain teasers on the cards because you know what? People, and I especially like not getting them from Google because a lot of the answers are out there and they can just go and find it. So what I do is I'll put a brain teaser on the back of the card that's not easily findable on Google, and then I will send that brain teaser on the back of a postcard. I can't tell you how many people that I know that those brain teasers drive them nuts, and they just call me. And they'll call me and say, I just need to know the answer. So that is my number one way. Number one, postcards have a 100% open rate because what person do you know looks at the front of the back of the postcard and doesn't turn it over? That's number one. So 100% open rate, that's number one. And then number two, by putting trivia or putting some kind of question or something interesting on the back, or even if you put those 1, 2, 3s that I talked about in email on the back, any of those really work. And they do get people to respond. The response rate on those are so high. And by the way, most time people get back to me, it's an apology. It's rare that I've actually sent those and someone has just not answered. Usually it's an apology and they're like, oh my gosh, Dawnna, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But putting a trivia question on the back of a postcard and then sending that postcard to a client that's ghosted you has been a fantastic way of getting people to respond because of course they want to know the answer. And it opens the conversation. So that is the number one way to do it. I would not suggest doing it first. I would suggest doing the other things first. Email, voicemail, liking on social media, then the email with the specific 1, 2, 3 bullet points that I put in there, and then finally the postcard. If when the postcard comes around they still don't answer, then guess what? They've been ghosted and you should just let that lead die. Anyway, my name is Dawnna St. Louis. I hope that you found this helpful on how to handle clients that may have ghosted you and what to do to lure them out of the darkness. I'll see you later.